Okay, folks, this week we're going to start a new drawing project. And I've kind of started preparing some sketches to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to do. But we're going to do like a word art kind of project. And so you got to pick something. You want to pick an object or a place or a thing. In my case here, I've chosen a fox, which was probably one of the harder things I've come to decide to pick because it's only got 3 letters in its name. But that doesn't mean you're going to use just the name of the thing. We may incorporate some other words. In fact, I do want you to include at least one adjective. And an adjective is going to be used to describe it. So in my case here, we're going to say sly fox. So the first thing I did was I did a representational drawing, right? I made a drawing of the fox more realistic. And that's just helping me to understand the structures of the animal that I chose. You don't have to necessarily choose an animal if you did like a camera or a car or something like that, but you need to be able to incorporate the letters into it. So you have to think about like the shapes you're dealing with and how you're going to have to manipulate it. So I chose the fox for that reason. And the very first one I did is pretty bad. So I want y'all to understand something. It's like, I can do this stuff, but my drawings aren't necessarily any better or worse than yours are, but I know how to like spend the time on them to make them look good. So like I did this one first just to kind of see if I could start to work out an idea of what I wanted to draw. And it kind of helped a little bit, so I kind of got thinking about it. But then I decided I needed to look at an actual fox because I didn't really look at one. I just kind of was going from my own memory of like what a fox should look like. And, like I say, it's best to actually have something to reference. So I found an image of a fox and just kind of drew it out just so I could understand the structures, kind of start to build that visual memory of the subject and start to build it up. From there, I started taking the structures that I created here with this arrangement and trying to break those down into the letters. And that's working out okay so far. So I started with this one, and it's really rough, and I was just kind of playing around with like, okay, how am I going to get all these letters in here? And I decided, well, if I can just do the body and make it say F-O-X, maybe I can use the word sly for the tail. And so I did this one really quickly and rough just to see if I could start to break that down, and yeah, it worked out okay. And so next, and this is the way you work through an idea, right? You start with something you start somewhere, then you start to break it down. And it's fine if they're rough and really kind of placed out and things are not quite the way they should be yet. That's why you're going to work through a series to kind of work out the design. And this is how people work. You can't expect to do something perfectly the first time or even to get it the way you want it to be. You have to be able to work through your ideas and then continually refine those ideas as you go along. So what I'm going to do now is try to do one where I'm really getting my idea refined. And I think I'll start with just kind of laying out the overall kind of shapes I want to fill. So like with the head, I want this kind of shape. Maybe not quite so egg-shaped, maybe a little rounder. And then for the body, and then like the bottom of the body, and then like the tail. And this is just going to kind of help me to fill in. So then I can go, okay, I got the ear. Maybe I don't want it to be so exactly like the first one. And this is kind of like making it more abstract. So I want to make it and I don't want that to be so big, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. I'm drawing pretty darkly. You know, you want to do this lightly. And this is your sketches, so it doesn't really matter. You know, as long as you understand what you're doing and like how you're formulating your ideas, you know, it should work out pretty well. Okay, so there's my F. So here's the O for the body. This is more like the chest than it is anything else. And then let's just kind of get our loop set in there. Here's my O. All right. Now for the X, and then in this one, well, actually I need to go ahead and do like the legs. So let's see, let's kind of have this coming out. And the legs, I'm just putting in as what they are. They're not letters. I couldn't figure out how to like, since it is only 3 letters, I couldn't necessarily incorporate another letter to kind of do that. So, and again, I'm just roughly laying this in. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect right now, and nor really should you expect it to be. We just kind of want to lay out our design and go from there. And really, I should still be referencing my image or a different image, because this one that I've worked off of for this drawing was really dark at the bottom, so I couldn't really see like the shapes in the legs. So I mean, I shaded it in based on the shadows that I could see. And you can see how like the lights and darks in it and like how that works. So this kind of goes back to like what we did before, but I needed to see like the actual shapes of the legs and things, but I'm getting pretty close this way. I'm just trying to get it to where I want it. And this, again, it's still just a sketch. This is not like the final product. And then from there, I can start to think about, okay, where's my X going to be? I'm kind of treating the X like it's the bottom part, like where the bottom feet are. And you're not going to be able to represent every little thing probably, but you can get pretty close. Okay, so FOX. Now for the S, I think I want my S to be the entire kind of white part. And then I can come in here with my L. And then I can, so I did my Y kind of differently down here. I think I'm going to do it smaller and let it take up less space. I don't really like that Y, but that's okay. So Sly Fox, and I could probably kind of exaggerate some of these other things a little bit more. Let's bring that in there. I might make the head actually a little bit more kind of angular, just to kind of give it that letter feel. So I might come back. And so not only do you kind of alter your original designs, but you can kind of do that. And you know, this may not have been the best kind of arrangement for the animal. It's like it might have been easier for me to do one where the fox is, you know, kind of from a perspective of like looking this way, or, you know, I'm not really sure. So that's something you can work out in your sketches. Make sure that you read the assignment really well, because I'm going to give you more options as far as like how you want to break this down or what you want to choose. I may let you do one where you get to use a lot of different words to basically just fill the drawing and do the drawing with words itself instead of like trying to break the drawing into things. So, you know, think about that. Let's see if we can come up with some others really quick. You know, just think about, okay, what if I wanted to do like a train? You know, I might say, okay, I'm going to draw like a really rough train just to see if I can work out like what it should look like, how I want it to go. So like, okay, so how would I fill this in? So I might say, you could say, okay, I could use the word locomotive instead of train. So L-O, low, L-O-C. I might, I could put like the other O right here and just let the wheel be a wheel. I don't know. Loco. And again, like this is how you kind of work through an idea. Just start drawing. Loco, mo. This one might be the O. And then like, this one might be the other T. And I might do like an I. And, we could come over here and start with like the V for like the wood, or like the fuel car or whatever. And then I didn't leave myself enough room, but like, and then put the E over here somewhere. So like, and this is a really rough one. I would want to go back and refine this, and really I would want to reference an image to kind of work out, like what a train looks like. Actually, I'm not really looking at anything. So we would want to make sure that we're getting it pretty accurately. I'm just kind of drawing from memory. And I don't, it's a really rough train, but it is what it is. I know they've got these connectors kind of running back from the wheels. Anyway, that kind of gives you the idea, like, and this is really quick and rough. You all are not going to be able to work this quickly. This is more in keeping with what I'm looking for, but I will put a lot of other example images on the video, or not on the video, but on the lesson, on Canvas, for y'all to reference. And look, I'm not going to lie about this. This is probably not the easiest thing to do and do it well, but I'm fairly confident that all of you should be able to come up with something for this. You've all been pretty creative so far with a lot of your solutions. Now, I would advise you to spend some time on it. That's the one issue that I have had, is people not putting like the adequate amount of time in. And it's going to show in your finished product. I can look at something and tell how long it takes to draw it. Like this took me about probably, the fox here, this took me probably 30 or 45 minutes of actual drawing, not like drawing for 5 minutes and then stopping and thinking, like 30 or 45 minutes of actual drawing. And then, I spent maybe 10 minutes on that one, maybe another 10 there, and y'all saw how, and the more you do it, the quicker you can get, and the more refined your idea can get. So that's why we work through things in series. The more you can do, the better they're going to get. So you want to refine this over time. So think about how you can do that. So, make sure you read the assignment. I will post an overview video like I have been the last few weeks, but we do want to include at least one adjective, so one descriptive word. So in this case, it's sly, so sly fox, and go from there. So I hope you all are able to do well with it. I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, please contact me by email or call the school, do something, ask me questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you're kind of in the middle of it and you want some feedbacks, drop it, take a picture and send it to me in an email and say, hey, what am I doing wrong, or how can I improve this right now? And I'll do my best to get back to you fairly quickly. Usually it's within a few hours. Every time it's the same day. If it's late in the evening, I might wait until in the morning. But just be aware that I am here to help you all, and I do want to see you succeed with this stuff. And this is not necessarily the easiest thing to kind of come up with, so you kind of have to break it down and work it out. So in your sketchbook assignment, I want to see one realistic representation, and I want to see that you're working through ideas. And like I said a minute ago, should have thought about, okay, what if this arrangement of the animal isn't necessarily working for my design or letting me incorporate the letters the way I want them to, how might I arrange the animal differently? So that may mean going back in and referencing other images and kind of thinking about that. I just want this one to be realistic. That doesn't mean you have to redo. If you change the arrangement here, does not mean you have to redo this drawing and turn it in multiple times. I just want to see this one time. That's just for the start. And you can see how big it is. It's not, it's not a huge drawing, but, it kind of gives you an idea. I made it big enough that I could incorporate some detail and really work out some of those things. So anyway, I hope you all do well with it. Let me know if you need any help. Get yourself a pencil and eraser and always have a sharpener on hand. But you know, they should progressively get better as you go along. Just take your time, think your way through it. You know, this is all problem solving, so let's try to do that. Anyway, y'all have a good day. See ya.